Hi there, it's Carl here from Buzz Website Design and Marketing, and in this session we're going to be installing and configuring a backup software for your website. Now what you're looking at right now is a development site that we use for building websites, for testing purposes and also for training. So your dashboard may look quite different to this, so don't worry about that for now. That's not what we're going to be concerned about. So first things first, we need to go over here to our plugins section. And at present we don't have a backup software installed. Now I'm particularly keen on using a specific plugin, and I'll show you right now. So let's click on Add New up here in the top left, and of course here we have the Add Plugin section. So what I'm going to do up here is type in Updraftplus. Now Updraftplus is a widely used software for backing up and restoring websites. It's incredibly well supported, and I just think it one of the easiest to configure. So we've got that there. Here it is. We're going to install it right now. Now that it's installed, we need to activate it. So here we have the plugins again, and if we go right down towards the bottom, we have the Updraftplus Backup and Restore here. So what we're going to do is click on Settings to start to configure it. So here's the screen that we are looking at. Nothing has been set up yet. The welcome message up the top, I usually get rid of that by clicking on the little X there, so it gives us space to work. You can largely ignore this message, but if it becomes persistent, then you may need to talk to your web host about adjusting it for you. But what we're going to look at first of all is the settings. So here we have the frequency of your backups, all of the different systems you can use, what you need to include in your backup, whether you want an email sent to you when it's backed up, and then of course the Save button right at the bottom. And we're just going to do a very simple setup to back it up to Dropbox, which is a very commonly used online storage facility. So we're going to change this first of all, the files backup schedule to weekly. Now the backup schedule for your files depends on how often you update your website in terms of its content and the images, and whether you put videos and stuff on there as well. If you don't update your website content on a very regular basis, you could probably set this to a little longer. If you're putting something into your blog with images and other uploadables onto your site more regularly, then you could back it up daily. In fact, to be honest, you could back it up every 4 hours. Typically, when I'm configuring a site, I back it up weekly. Most of my clients don't tend to put more than a blog post a week onto their website, so weekly is often enough. And I almost always back up the database daily, which just effectively keeps all the data and all of the settings of your website intact. You don't have to have them both at the same, backing up at the same frequency, but I think that daily for your database is good enough, and weekly for your files is good enough. If you don't write blog posts on your website and it hardly ever changes, then the database could probably be backed up weekly rather than daily. So you get to choose, but those are the options that I prefer. Like I said earlier, I'm going to I'm going to back it up to Dropbox. There's loads of different systems you can use, including Google Drive. You can back it up to FTP. You could even have it emailed to you, although to be honest it would probably be quite a hefty email if you've got lots of plugins and lots of stuff on your site. So be aware. So I'm just going to click on Dropbox and scroll down a little bit. What I always tend to have these three ticked. On development sites, we don't tend to have this one ticked here for the plugins, because plugins are easily replaced. Themes and uploads may not necessarily be so. So I tend to have all three of those ticked in most instances on a client site. Any other directory found outside WP, and that's quite a handy thing to have if you've got other stuff that you've uploaded to the site which is referenced to by your theme or any of the program that you had done on your site. Typically, I don't tend to mess with any of the other stuff. If you want an email to say that it's been updated, tick that, but bear in mind, if your database is backed up daily, you'll get an email every day, so that could be a little bit much. I tend not to tick it because I look at websites and our clients' websites fairly frequently anyway. So when you've looked at all of those and made all the settings that you want, click on Save Changes. So there we have it. Now the first thing I need to do based on that, it tells you up here, I need to authenticate the Dropbox account. So at the moment I've set it to back up to Dropbox, but I've not told Dropbox that this is going to be happening. So I need to click on this here. It will take us away from the website to Dropbox. It will ask you to sign into your Dropbox account, and when you put in obviously your email address associated to your Dropbox and your password, click on Sign In. Then you get this screen, and what we want to do is to allow Updraft to back up to Dropbox. So we click on Allow. And there we have it. So at this time, the next scheduled backup is later today. That's today's date. So that should happen. But I almost always click on Backup Now, just to make sure that process starts. So let's do that. Click on Backup Now. And what happens is it should start backing up any moment. There we are. And then this will just keep running. When the backup has completed, and to be honest, you don't have to sit there watching, you can go and do other stuff on your website. It should work in the background. You can come back to this screen here, which is just the current status. You can see when the last backup job was run, which is just now. You can have a look at the log file if you want, and you should be able to see over here your backup. So what it's done here is backed up the database, plugins, themes, uploads and others. It's all there. You can view the log. You can restore it from there as well. Now, because this is set to back up the files once a week, tomorrow's database will just have the database in it. So the backup date will be tomorrow, and it will just have the database listed in, and these will not be there. So really, that's it. It's one of those situations where you should be able to just set it and forget it. Every now and then you might want to do a restore when you know there's no data to overwrite or nothing to change, just to make sure that it works. But that's it. Setting up a backup for your WordPress website. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.